In this video, we're going to be making some vintage typography style t-shirt designs. And if you're like me, then you probably like antiquing. Even if you're not like me and you clicked on this video, I guess you like typographic style t-shirts or t-shirts that have text on them. If you haven't checked out my brother's videos, he's done 5 or 6 of these already. This is what I'm calling the vintage edition of this. I've got a Kittl project pulled up right here. And what you see there with the references are pictures I've taken of vintage tins or labels and things like that as I've gone antiquing, which is why I mentioned that in the beginning, because I really love vintage stuff. And if you don't have the luxury of being able to go to an antique shop that's around you or something like that, you can still go to Pinterest. I've got Pinterest pulled up right here, and you can just type in vintage tins up here in the top, and it will give you a ton of stuff very similar to what I'm going to be making. It is going to give you some modern stuff kind of mixed in with some old stuff. So you might want to get specific with the years and stuff like that. But I personally love just going to antique shops and cataloging these all myself. So in lieu of Graham being out right now because he recently got married and so he is not here to do any videos because he is away, I am going to be taking the 6th or 7th typography video and we're going to do it with a vintage spin. Now, I've got the references here up above, and underneath I've gone ahead and given myself like a little, not cheat sheet, but I've basically given myself at least the category of what I'm going to be turning the design into. I could try to just make them one for one, but for example, some of these long ones I'm probably going to turn into more horizontal style designs so that they fit on the entire t-shirt. So I've got everything from sports to gardening, writing, coffee, just some stuff that I feel like would match either a merch brand or even if it's a streetwear brand, and somehow incorporating this vintage aesthetic. So I basically go through 3 steps for these. One reason I think the type t-shirts are so popular is because access to really good fonts and an easy to use program like this, these are actually pretty easy to achieve. So the 3 steps I go through are color. So what I'll be doing is I'll be using the color dropper tool, which if I open my little color swatch right here, you can see there's a color dropper tool. And this is the first step. There's 3 kind of main sections to this. The first step is just finding the color. So if I click on that color dropper tool, I can come up here and I can choose whether or not I want that yellow color, that kind of mustardy color as my shirt, or if I want this kind of darker red color as my shirt. I could obviously pick something in between. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the red color, and we're going to find something over here, like right there. I do like that kind of muddied color. And then for the text, I'll probably use a combination of the yellow and white, or I'll just use yellow or just use white. But that's kind of the first step. The second step I do is try to find the type that's close. I don't try to immediately start laying out the shirt by any means. I'm trying to find a font that's similar, and Graham has talked about this before, but the easiest way to do that is to type one of the words, and let me go ahead and bring this up so you can actually see it, and I'll just kind of pull down the reference here for the second so that you can see how I do this. So I'm looking for something that's going to be similar. Now we probably don't have a font that's very similar to this S, but that's okay because we're really just trying to get something that's similar. So I know I'm going to be in the sans serif style. I know that's actually pretty freaking close. I know we're gonna be doing all caps. I do see that this F and the M and the F, these are all like higher. If you can see right here, if I drew a line, like an imaginary line, you can see that the first uppercase, the cap is higher, but we're just looking for something similar. So this is kind of a contender. I may actually just keep that like that. Go back over to sans serif, and we're looking, you can get an idea from this preview over here of something that might be close. I think Barlow on the highest one, it's close. Let me try this with italic. Yeah, it's not quite as thick as I would need it to be, but you get the idea. Sometimes you kind of have to go through this and make a best judgment on what you have access to, because sometimes you're not going to have access to every single font style that was available to obviously these people, but we have a pretty good idea. We can get pretty close. See, like that one's pretty nice. Let's check if that has an italic. It doesn't. By the way, there is kind of a hack. If it doesn't have a italic, you can just grab these corners, the middle and the far left and the far right, and make it. You can make it fake italic if you want. So that's kind of a contender. I would have to leave it like that. Let me see if Accelerator has. No, they don't either. Let me type in. I'm gonna do bold real quick. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Let's try. Yeah, okay. So this should show me everything that's italic. Hubert Sands. Let's see. Yeah, this might be good. Let's do extra bold. Let's try bold italic. Let's try this. This is such an amazing font, though. Okay, extra bold wide. I think I'm gonna go with this. I think this has the character I'm looking for with this subtle distortion here, which is just, I mean, it's a neat hack. I think this is gonna serve the purpose. So after I've found, that's kind of the second step. After I've found the font that's similar, then I can go about like actually finishing the design. So let's say if I was just gonna copy this one verbatim, I could do it like this. I could just have these doing the same exact thing. But I don't think that's what I'm going to be doing. I think I'm going to obviously change this to a sports car racing type thing. So we won't do it exactly the same. I am going to come over here and I'm going to grab this color. That's really cool. Now, before I finish that out, I just mentioned the 3 steps there. The first step is finding the color. I use the color dropper tool. Second step is finding a font that's similar, and then obviously there's subtext and things like that. We can get into that. And then the third one is actually laying it out. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab each of these colors just to save me a little time. So I'll go ahead and speed up through this process for you, and then we'll come back. All right, so we're back now, and I have gone ahead and grabbed all of the colors, and I have chosen a secondary color that's in the layout here, whether it's the type. Most of the time it's the color of the type. And let me just say, just looking at this without any design on it, I actually really dig all of these color palettes, especially these two. I love the kind of military style color palette here. And then for this color, this main color is like obviously the banner color, but for this lighter color, I got it from the very edge of this pinstripe. I know I could use the black, but I think it goes pretty hard. I like it a lot. I do think that this one could probably be just a tad bit darker. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then I think maybe this red could be just a slightly tad darker. Let's see what happens if that actually made it. It's okay. We can go over here and we can actually just pull it down just a tad. And we could do it that way. That's pretty nice. All right, so we're going to go into laying these out one by one. So we're going to start with this first one here. And so we have this motor oil flush, which is super cool. If I saw that in the store, it would definitely incentivize me to buy it because it looks like it's been around for a long time. So I'm going to go with a similar layout for the first two things. So I'm just going to go with Fast Boy, and I'm going to kind of do this like this offset thing right here just for a second to play around with it. And it looks like we just have some text underneath with some subtext, so this is really going to be pretty chill. So we want some text probably at the top and then some text at the bottom, and it does look like it's pretty like tall. It looks like the text is pretty tall, so I'm going to add some text with the T button, and we're going to change this text. For the time being, let's change it to this yellow just to see what it looks like. And we're going to find, we can actually type in the word condensed here to find something that's going to be similar to what we're seeing. And Antonio looks pretty close. It is a variable font, which is nice, so which means we can get the weight up a little bit on it. And I think that looks pretty cool, especially for what we're going to be doing. So this is a sports car racer, meaning like, I don't know, maybe it's like a racing club or whatever. So maybe we'll put this at the top. Maybe we'll put this text in all caps. Maybe we'll put this down. We're gonna go 100. Yeah, we'll put this like top. So one element or one principle for these kinds of shirts is thinking about text as element and not always text as the necessity to read something. Not saying that it's wrong by any means, but like just thinking about text itself as an element will really help you in your compositions. So another thing that you can always think about from learning from these old vintage photos and tins and cans is how they've been laid out for the actual item that they're on. For example, whether it be a water bottle or a book, or if it's going to be something that's embossed or something like that, like the use case, right? And so sometimes when you're designing on a flat board, it actually can maybe look a little bad on the on the actual board, but then when you mock it up on something, it actually looks pretty cool. So I'm going to duplicate this text. If you want a fast way to do it, that's Alt-Option-Key. You can also just hit copy and paste, like Command-C, Command-V. If you want, I use the Alt-Option-Key and dragging. So instead of the fastest around, because I've already got that up here, we're going to come up with some words that have to do with racing. Let's see. Dedicated. We're going to do like 3, like boom, 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 like, the classic 3 bullet points. Let's go locked in. Winning. I don't know. Those are the 3 passions. Oops, I spelled winning wrong. Of this club here. And we can grab all these. We can go over here into our tidy tool. I don't know why I said it like that, but we can go over here into our tidy tool. I'm actually going to bring this down. And then I think what would be kind of cool, we can take a little bit of creative freedom here. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put this down. I'm going to go to some script fonts. And we're going to go to, let's see, we want, this one could be kind of cool. Yeah, this is cool. I'm looking for an old-timey font. Yeah, or an old-timey script, sorry. And we could put like club down here, or we could put it down here. Maybe like this. And then I'm going to put it like this. And then it's not really going to work the way that it is there. I'm actually going to group these guys, bring them down. For this one, I'm going to go to text shading, select the third one, and I'm going to make this one the same color as that red, which I believe is this color red. I have 2 color reds on here. Take the offset down, and then I'm going to bring this outline width up, and you can see it makes this really cool cutout effect. You see that? Where it looks like it's cutting out. Now, I know what everybody's going to say. You would have to only sell this shirt on that color. There is kind of a neat hack where I could just export this, import it again, and remove the background, and then this will be gone. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to kind of leave it like this for the time being. And then what I think we're going to do is bring this over here, bring this over here. And then I know that Graham likes to not use any elements. I am going to look for, let's see, racing. All right, so I just want one of these, and we're going to make it, I think we're going to do white. Let's see what it looks like behind. No, I just want them to be like super small. And let's see what happens if I make them the same yellow. That's also kind of cool. I could also flip this, and this could be like part of the, what the heck? That's actually kind of fire. But I would need to, I like it like that large. I need to get rid of this little thing right here. So, and I can't do that if I'm going to make it the same width. By the way, to do that, to skew stuff, you can hold shift and like stretch this up and down like this with the corners, and it'll make it the exact like width of it. And so there's a neat trick, because since it's a vector element, yes, we have things coming. We have the eraser tool coming. It's not quite ready yet, but I can just put this in a mask like this, and then I can make this a little bit smaller. And then inside the mask, I can move this around. See that? So now if I turn this around, I can make this like perfectly the size of this without this stick in it. Okay. And then now this can become part of this B, like our original kind of plan, which makes it kind of cool. And then I can still stretch it. I can still stretch and skew and turn this even though it's inside of the mask. So anyway, I would probably mess with this a little bit more, but I like the general idea of where we're headed with this. Maybe it's a little too much on this flag, maybe something more subtle. Anyway, there's a cool idea there. I would probably work with that a little bit more, but we can go here up into our mockup feature, and in like in similar kind, I'll do what Graham does. I'll go make a mock-up and bring it back in. I think this looks better as a back t-shirt. So if I go into the t-shirts, I can go to, that one's kind of cool, but I can go down to, let's see, like maybe, let's see, that one's cool. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. I'd probably work more on this space down here at the bottom. I'd probably make that text smaller, but for the purposes of the time, you can see the idea, the process behind setting up your project for what you do. Then I can go over here into the uploads, folders, mockups, and then you're gonna see that right there. Boom, there's the first one done. So with this second one, what I'm gonna do is find a similar text to this, which should not be very difficult. We're gonna go back over to sans serif, and we're already on Roboto. So what we need is just a little bit taller, probably not Antone. Actually, that's a little too tall. This is a great option. I love the B Vietnam font. It's so nice. Let's see. Call Sans, also quite nice. Shivo, possibly. Let's see. Let's see what PL Med looks like. So we're looking for something that's just similar. So I'm gonna type in condensed. I mean, that's pretty close, but it's not. It's too thin for that. Okay, yeah. We're gonna go with Milk Store. I think I didn't even think about that. That's pretty close. So let's do this. We are going to open this up. You see the spacing in between here is pretty large. Let's go 80. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So this one, I feel like I'm gonna follow pretty closely by the book. We're gonna go over here, grab us a shape. We're gonna bring this over here. We are going to add a border. We're gonna make that border the yellow. And then with this color, we're just going to take this color off the inside. So we don't need the fill. We just want a border, a box border here. And I've already forgot our, what's our theme? Archery club, archery. We're going to make this box just a little bit thicker. Let's go 18 maybe? Sure. And then this first word, definitely going to be archery. I do like the model, like number type thing. So we're going to go, I don't know why, but I feel like this feels like the most symbolic of what like bullseyes would be. If there's a number for bullseye that I don't know, that actually kind of looks cool as a symbol. Anyway, we're gonna make this one a little bit bigger. Make sure that's in the center there. Notice in these layouts where you have like larger and then smaller text and then smaller text that's all here kind of in a quadrant. So you have like your title, which is larger, then you have like all of this smaller text, this subsequent text here below it. So if we duplicate this, right now we're at 330. I'll probably back this down to 300. Nope, probably 250. You just kind of keep on going down till you see like 3/4 rule, where it's like 3/4 the width, so you can see it fits within, the ends are kind of cut off there. So then we're going to do, we'll just say, I'm in North Carolina, so we'll just say that this is the North Carolina Club, I guess. We're going to make this come down just a tad, and we're going to do members only. See, this text already looks too big. I need to bring it down even more. Club members only. I'm making stuff up. The idea though is for you guys to know how to kind of create and craft your own merch based off of old vintage stuff. And then I think I'm gonna leave this as 2 for the moment. I might do something a little spicy underneath here. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this, and we're at 215. I'm going to take this down to 145, so we're going to be even smaller. I'm just making stuff up. World Champions. I'm going to duplicate that text. I'm going to do like location. 1, 2, 3. Bullseye? How do you spell bullseye? That's definitely not right. Oh, it is. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. I freaking spelled it right. That's fire. Let's see. We're going to bring this up, make this a little bit smaller. And then I really dig how, so this is like the amount, right? That's a quart. But I love this like left justified, right justified business. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to left justify this. Right now we've been center justified the whole time. But I love this kind of militaristic aspect of this. We're going to go, this is the hardest part of this. I think this is why the videos are so long, is because I'm trying to figure out what to write for this. So we're just going to say ESTD 94, great year. We're going to go, but we're just going to assume that we have 12 units in this club of archery people. We're going to duplicate. We're going to right align these, and then we're going to bring these over here. And then we are going to do different text for this. Long and compound. So this is an archery place that does both compound bows and long bows, if that makes any sense to you guys. I'm assuming it does. We're going to take this down to 100. I just think it looks cool. There's no rule that suggests you have to like 1-for-1 it from this. Obviously, you don't want to just 1-for-1 anything, but I think that it's, you know, cool to do so. So I'm going to have this be, I'm going to have these be on this grid line 2 boxes from the edge. That's kind of my normal. By the way, the grids are Command or Control apostrophe. And I think I do need to grab all of this, bring this up like this. I think these are all now too like far away from each other. So I think we can make some more space by bringing all these up. And then what we'll do is bring this guy down. I don't know. I don't know. There's only one shot. I'm not sure why that would be the case, but it is. And then I just want there to be a little bit of diversity here in between this. I would wear this. I'm not even in a like archery club, but I would probably wear this. So let me go here. Let's mock that up, because why not? Golly, that shirt color and this like combo, this yellow combo would be fire. That's nice. All right, so I'm going to download this because honestly, I think for some reason it's faster to just drag this in than go to my uploads panel. Nobody fight me on that. I mean, you can if you want. I don't know. I just feel like dragging it in is easier somehow. So here is our second one. There we go. All right, and we're on to our third one. All right, so this is going to be a gardening association. I do dig this kind of looped, kind of distorted arch effect. And for this, I'm going to use a collegiate font. Oh, it's called University. Idiot. There we go. So we're going to go with Gardens. That's so nice. This is also a variable font, by the way, so you can adjust the weight, which is so cool, and you can slant it if you want. So nice. Honestly, I like the thickness. Maybe let's go down to like 750-ish. Yeah. All right, and then to achieve this kind of like rounded arched top and bottom, what we're going to do is we are going to go over here into transformation. We are going to distort, and all we're simply going to do is grab this middle one, and then we're going to bring it down. And then we're going to grab this bottom one, and we're just going to bring it up. And then if we want it to be even more intense, we can grab the left and right nodes and bring them up and down to get even like more contrast of this. Mainly, you'll want to do that because I don't want the like D to be completely illegible. And if you hold Shift, it'll stay in its place. But I think that's pretty good. That's definitely a good place to start. Add some new type. We're going to all caps this. We're going to make it that same color. We're going to go here. We're going to give this like 80, 100. And let's see. We're going to give this maybe more of a rounder one. Like, yeah, that's pretty nice. I like the sharpness mixed with the roundedness of this type here. Make sure that's centered. Make sure this is centered as well. And then I'm honestly just going to put, I don't even have anything special for this. I'm literally just going to put the Gardens Association. And then what I think would be kind of fire is, so I could I could put something longer here and make this curved. I could also just duplicate this, the best gardening tools. And then I could just curve this because I can put this on the curve and widen this out, which you can do with both. I don't have to use that one per se. And that's kind of cool, just like this. Then I can decide like kind of where I want it to start. And maybe it's a little too, yeah. So now I can get like real specific with this. This here, we're gonna bring this down, and then let's bring this up. So this is gonna be like the kind of highest part of this right here. And then we can put this here, and then we can take the transformation off of this. We can put rakes, hoses, shovels, let's do something a little bit different. Let's do this. Because I want it to fit inside of this text. Like, you know what I mean? I want it to fit underneath this text. Do shovels and gloves. I'm just listing like stuff at this point. I'm not even doing anything original at this point. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to pull this down and we just have a little hood, if you will, a little roof. I might actually make this just a little bit more shallow. Let's bring this down, grab all this, bring this up a little bit. And then we're going to do like one more little something underneath. Actually, yeah, let's bring this up just a little bit more. Let's bring this text back down. Let's see, for all your outdoor needs. And let's see, can we get that to be 2 lines? Nice. We're going to go over here, 0. And we're going to put that here. And then we're going to, that one's not bold. So let's go back over to sans serif. I actually kind of dig Antonio for some reason is like, I'm digging that font. Let me make these Antonio just to see. Oh, and it's a variable. So let's thicken that up. That's so nice. I don't know why. It's like for the purpose of this old school stuff, it's really getting the job done. And then we can put this down here. All right, I think that's pretty cool. We need to make sure all these are centered because I'm not sure if they are. Center. Yeah, okay. And then we'll put this like in the middle. Put this down here. And then kind of a trick, once you get everything like spaced in between how you want it, you can actually grab all of it, Command G, and then now I can use this to center it like horizontally. So now that's about center of the actual t-shirt design that would be. All right, let me go ahead on, and then I'll make mock-ups of all of these. But let me go ahead on to the next one because I know this is already getting pretty long. All right, so this next one, this is an antifreeze brand. We finally had Serif enter the chat here, which is nice. And so what I'm going to do first, again, this is part of the process. I try to type in the same word or a similar word so that we can find something similar. So we're going to go over here to Serif. We have a variety of fonts that are going to be pretty nice for this. This one will not work. Some of these are going to be too sharp. Let's see. Oh, wait, we're also still in. We need to make sure that we do it kind of the way that it's up here. Let me bring that back. That's honestly not terrible. It's just the serif is the opposite curve that I'm looking for to match the text that's in there already. That's pretty nice. I think it's not exactly the same, but I do like that. All right. Well, I could keep playing with it. This is a little bit more slabby than this one, but I think for the purposes of this, it's going to work. Now, interesting to note that you have a thicker type here and a thinner full all caps type underneath. I don't know if we'll follow that exact formula. We also have this kind of like sigil up here at the top with something in it. We could experiment with that. I think what I'm going to go for is just kind of, I'm going to go through this writer's corner here. Let's see, writing, let's go this, and then let's duplicate this, and we'll go here. Let's make this one all caps. Let's see what happens if we do this. Let's see. Let's try making this one just we'll have this smaller. And we'll go here, we'll go writing, and then let's make this the same size, 220, the writing room, and then we'll make this a little bit smaller. Maybe. I'm not completely sold on it yet. Let's find us a little, I'm not opposed to adding a little sigil here because I think that's something that we definitely can do. We can definitely go down, I need to actually go to shapes. And then, we're going to go into badges. And we're going to find us a little something similar to what is currently up there. I like this one. Let's go with this one. This one has many accoutrements to it. I'm going to distort it just a tad. Center that up, and then we're going to start taking away a bunch of colors because we don't need them. So we're going to take that off. We're going to take that off. We're going to take that off. We're going to change this to that gray. And then we're going to give it a border. Ooh, no, maybe we won't. We'll keep it like that. And then, let's see, maybe book. Let's try to find us an element here. Maybe we could keep it, we could do something vintagey, but we could also just do something pretty pretty stock, pretty chill. We'll take off all of this stuff, and then we'll make this the gray. Kind of fire. Let's see what happens if I give this a border. Too much border. Let's go down to like 1. No. Because sometimes when you give it a border, but the color is not the same, it adds a border through the transparency. So what we could do is we could give it the same color as the background. You just have to be careful with that, because if you're going to print on a different colored shirt, then you're going to want to take that off. This still looks a little collegey to me. I don't hate it. It's just not exactly what I want. Maybe it's this that needs to be, yeah, I think that's definitely a little better. Let's go here, use our tidy tool, and then we're going to go, it looks like pretty much everything is the same. Oh, it looks like they've mixed this sans serif with a serif, so that's interesting, but we can do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, go down, we're going to go down even, actually probably even smaller than that. Let's go down to 100. Filler text. All right, and then now we're going to mix it with the sans serif, just because. And I think for this one, actually, Roboto will work. There's also Roboto condensed, so don't forget about that. Let's go medium. I love the 2-line business here. That actually looks pretty good. We do want 2 lines there, and maybe we'll make that a little bit smaller. Might be a little bit too much text for a t-shirt. Definitely works as a label. We could change that. Then we could go, yeah, let's shorten this. So sometimes you just got to get creative with your lines. Booths or common area, and then all day availability. So I do think what would be nice is if we can figure out how to incorporate some of this red. Maybe this, for example, does become this red, and then this, for example, does become the red. Let's think about it. I'm not suggesting that we do it this way. This is probably, yeah, I would say probably this is the weakest label of the lot, but I mean, there is a lot of text on it, so I did want to try to figure something out. I could also change this to the writer's corner. I'm just wondering, like it definitely feels a little better already. Oh, you know what? Maybe if we take the badge away, I just don't dig it anymore. So I think, yeah, I think just having this and then like this in the middle, I'm going to try this just to see how it works. I don't hate that. I really don't. That's not terrible. But I think let's get rid of dedicated, and we're going to go to a place. And I spelled of wrong. Maybe we'll just do this, place for writers of all skills. I think what's happening is I don't like it. That's what's happening. And then I'm going to go medium. This needs to be 2, and then this needs to be like, I don't know, way down here, like on the left or something. I don't like that. It kind of looks like it's giving magazine. Ooh, you know what? Actually, I think what we need is we need a little class here, and this needs to not be all caps. That's what we needed. We needed class. I immediately like that better. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's infinitely better now. I'm not even going to add a little border thing to it because I think it's fine. Let's see. This still needs work. I am going to leave it like this for the moment. I'm going to add some size to this. We'll continue to work on that, but we have many more to do, and I only have 13 minutes on this memory card. We got to get rolling. All right, so I wasn't feeling this one completely, but I felt like adding a little bit of that script to the bottom just really made it kind of tie itself together from the top and the bottom, and then added this one. I merged those 2 lines together to make one block of justified text, and it's really just more of a design element so much as it is for you to read it, so you really have to kind of stop and look at it and read it. All right, I have 10 minutes left on my memory card, so we have got to get going. Put 10 minutes on the clock. Let's see if I can get all 4 of these designs done. So for this one, we're going with Seeds of Life. And so for this text, I'm going to do something like heavenly. And then I feel like, so this design merges like sans serif and serif together. And so what I'm going to do is do kind of the inverse. And I do like this American font, which is really nice. So I'm going to go with serif first, put on my little transformation and bring that way up. Just a slight arch here, and I'm gonna give us some space here in between. And then for the text, I'm kind of thinking something like seeds of life for this. So let's go seeds of for that first line, and I'm going to use one of my favorites, which is Modern Hand Sans, and I love this one because it is a variable font. So I can make this long or super condensed based on what I need, and so I don't need it to be super long right now, so I'm going to bring it down to about 50. I'm going to duplicate that, type in life. Now look what's so cool about this. I can bring that all the way back up, and so I don't have to like make it so massive to take over the rest of that size there. I'm going to decrease this right here. Seeds of life, and then I'm thinking I'm going to duplicate this text, take this off. So we're going to go back from serif to sans serif to now serif again. We're going to go something like guaranteed to calm your soul. And we're going to see if we can make that. Yeah, okay, yeah. All right, we can do it, we can do it. That's pretty close, actually, already. Bring that letter spacing down. Dang, that's pretty close. I love how guaranteed to and then calm your soul is like the exact correct size for this. I'm going to duplicate this text, and we're going to go safety and security. And what I'm going to do for this is a different transformation, because I do like this kind of wobbliness here, but I don't want to try to do all that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with the flag transformation here. And what I'm going to do is just kind of make these a little bit more stark in their starting and finishing. So I want it to be like a little bit closer to flat on the starting and a little bit closer to flat on the finish. You know what I mean? And then you bring this down. So yeah, it's really more of just like design element-esque. Now for me, this is a little too intense, so I'm actually going to bring this up. Yeah, and so you can work with these little nodes to get it where you want. Safety and security, and then lastly we're going to do like a little address. We're going to do something a little clever, which I'm going to do is 123 Bread of Life Avenue, like that, and we're going to have that down to the bottom. Maybe Heavenly just needs to come down. Yeah, that's not bad. And I can grab everything, Command G, and I can make sure it's centered right in the center there, and boom. Okay, so that's the fifth design. Time to move on to the next one. Oh my gosh. All right, so this one we're going with coffee merch. So I think the text I'm going to use is George's. Don't know why, just came to my mind. And we are going to use a more Wes Anderson style font called Bungee, which I love. It's not quite the same as this. You can see the G is kind of similar. I know it's not the same. Don't come at me in the comments. But anyway, now we're going to do coffee for this one. You see the script nature of this. It's not exactly the same, but I think one that's going to be perfect for this is Milk Store, not all caps. There we go. And we're going to make the C capitalized. Yes, see the E is very similar there. And then what we're going to do with this one is I'm going to put it on the angle, which looks almost perfect there. Make that a little bit bigger, and then you guessed it, we are going to use our little shading hack. Make this the color of the background, and then start giving the outline width there. You see that? How it cuts into the bottom of that? Just like that. And again, if I wanted to get serious about making sure that effect is actually transparent so I can change the color, I could export this, import it, take off the background, and then it would work. Now, I'm going to break the text only rule a little bit because I just see like a coffee mascot. So like I feel like we need, I don't know, a little guy like walking like this guy. Like these are so good. It matches the kind of wobbly, thick, quirky font of the Georges there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the yellow to the color of our text here. And then I'm going to change this orange. Actually, no, let's change it to white. Why not? Yeah, I think that's fine. It's already coming together pretty nice. And we're going to add some information about where it was roasted. For some reason, Boone came to mind. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this down here. Make that all caps. Again, make that same color. Center it. And I'm going to give this some letter spacing as well. Not 500. Goodness. 50 is enough, I think. And then I think we need maybe a little tagline. So roasted in Boone, and then maybe something like to put a little pep back in your step. Look at that. And then we're going to make that 2 lines, bring that way down, close that letter spacing, make this regular. Just a little design element here. Like you really got to get close to see that. And I feel like that's a pretty solid design. Like that's a nice t-shirt. Maybe this needs to be a little closer. Grab everything, Command G, center it right in the middle. Oh, that's maybe a little too high. Boom. How many I got? Oh no, I'm out of minutes. Okay, I had to get another memory card. We're back. We have 2 left. We can knock this out. I don't know where I'm at in the 10 minutes. I guess I'm probably over. I am not a fast designer by any means. Like, you guys don't even want to see the raw footage of whatever this video is. All right, let's get through this. All right, so for this one, I love this one, Gas Boy. That's so dope. Muscle cars, yeah, obviously. Muscle cars, yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking for this one, I just love the term already, but I'm going to do Gas Boys as a little bit of an inside joke that some of us share here. Those will appreciate it, but that's what we're going to go with. So there is this kind of similar font, yeah, called Orbitron. Now, it's pretty thin. Even at the highest one like that, it's not quite as thick as this, and it's not quite as condensed as this, but you see how the G is pretty condensed there? But again, if I use our little hack here, I can make this the same color, make sure it's the same color, and then I can add a little bit of outline width just to make it a little bit bolder, maybe like that, and then add some letter spacing to kind of even this out here. And then to get that slant, I'm just using all the tricks on this one. I'll just distort this and move it there to the side just a little bit to get that, to get that kind of racing italic-like angle there. And then I'll make this a little bit bigger. Then I'll add some text like to premium muscle cars. Sure, we're going to put that right underneath, just like you see right here. We're going to put that underneath. We're going to go a lotta for this one. And because it's a little sharper to contrast all that roundness. Yeah, you see how these are really sharp. I'm going to add us some spacing. I love 80 for some reason. It's such a good amount, I feel like. Let's bring this down. Premium muscle cars. Also, the smaller you make the text, the more letter spacing you can give it, and it still looks pretty nice. So we could even do 120. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like the idea here how it says model and serial number. We're not going to do any models or serial numbers, but I like that idea. So what if we did models, and then I don't know what it is, but I am just really digging Antonio right now. It's just a good looking condensed font. So if we go, and it's a variable font, I forgot about that. Let's give it 5. Yeah, let's give it 550. I dig that. We're going to go here in the middle, and then let's bring this down. And then we're going to do the best of the best. So vague, right? I'm just trying to fill these spaces with text. And then let's grab both of these, duplicate it. Location. So instead of serial number, because we're not talking about one specific car, we'll do across the Atlantic. So this will be an East Coast thing where I'm at, just because that's where I'm at. So that's what I'm doing. And then I feel like we can add a little bit of luxury to this. Let's make sure that's the same color. And we're going to use luxurious script. Boom. Bring that down. And we're going to do both classic and refurbished. No further explanation. We're talking about cars already. It says right here, premium muscle cars. So we're going to do classic and refurbished. Yeah, let's duplicate this. So similar to how you see up here, the incorporated, we're going to do Gas Boys Incorporated. Yes, that's cool. That's one thing that's always frustrated me a little bit about a lot of. There's no extra weights to it, or at least we don't have it. Durham NCU.S.A. That looks pretty fire to me. Bring this down a little bit. Put these guys here in the middle, maybe just a little bit bigger. Depends on what you're trying to show off on the shirt, what's the most important thing. Here, obviously, this stuff is the least important. We could even make that a little bit smaller so that it's it's just kind of oh, they're from Durham. Oh, they're, it's classic and refurbished. But it's if you want to really show off, I'm thinking okay, the models are the best of the best. It's across the Atlantic. And then you could incorporate this into more merch that's specific to an event on a specific day or a festival or a show or something. Yeah, but also this needs to be up just a tad. Gas Boys, premium muscle cars. That's dope. That looks cool. All right, this needs to come up just a tad. And then we'll grab, boom, and then we'll do yeah, that looks freaking sick. All right, that's cool. I'm going to hit all of the mock-ups here at the end. We have one more design. This is exhausting. You guys should try this. You guys should try just like grabbing 8 references and trying to design them. This has definitely been at least 2 hours of me trying to figure out this video. All right, book club. Okay. Oh, I already know the font we're going to use for this. Serif font, and we're going to go with, Abril. Yeah, come on. That's like so close to that already. Like, look at this. Look at that. Look at that W. So close. All right, book, and then club, obviously. Okay, and we're going to do a little ESTD and a little date on the left, on the right. So we're going to go ESTD, and we're going to go obviously white here. We're already on bold. That works. That's fine with me. Bring this over here. Of course, we're going to do 1994. Great year. And I don't want to do a whole sigil thing here. So maybe we can just do like a book, like a vintage book. The first one would be pretty fine, I think, actually. Yeah, the first one would be kind of fire. Yeah, why not? Let's go. I want to see how this looks like this. Yeah, we can try it. I could also like export that and then remove the background from it, but I think this looks probably better. Let me explain that real quick. So like if I invert these, so I make this the inside, right? I take the inside off and then I make the outside white. It doesn't look terrible. I'm not going to suggest it looks terrible, but technically and realistically, you can see this one and make out that is a book better than you can this. So anytime you have an inverted object image illustration on a darker color like a black or a dark red or something like that, it's better to knock out the outline, knock out the black, and fill in the actual illustration with that color. I don't know how else to illustrate that without showing you like more illustrations other than what you can see right here. This one is just much more like, oh, I can tell what that is, versus this is like, oh, that's the outlined etch of a book, and it's like, if you get super small, it's like, I don't even know what that is. But like you can still kind of figure out that this is a book. Anyway, thus endeth the illustration lesson here. All right, so we got ESTD. These could all be down. These could probably be a little closer in. All right, let's do some text. We're going to duplicate this instead of bold. Let's go to regular. Eloquent books for eloquent readers, obviously. We're gonna do 2 lines. Let's do all caps. Let's do 2 lines. Bring this up 0, of course. Come on, and yeah, let's bring this down. This looks too close to the top of there. That's cool. That's already starting to kind of take shape. Now up here we've got, so that this pretty closely matches what's happening right here. Then we have the serif text again. So I am going to duplicate it. This is going to be at the palace, because why not? I don't know what that could be code. That could be a code word for something that I don't even know about. And we're going to bring that way down. Yeah, way down. And then underneath, we have some extracurricular information here. I think I'm going to use a very similar style of font and write a little message in this kind of script. So if I duplicate this, we're going to do a blend of romance and adventure for serious readers. And the script font we are going to use is called Character, not all caps. And you can see, if I get in real close, this A is very similar to this A. You know what I mean? Let me put this B pretty close, just to be fair. That's already looking pretty cool. I mean, it is more labely than it is t-shirt designy, but you know, whatever. And then let's finish it out with 1, 2, 3, Worm Avenue. Because why not? All caps, black. Because why not? Bring this down. And then now you kind of have to decide, where does this text go? Does this text go down here? I kind of think it does. Does it go up here to sandwich this text? Not as good as it was here, right? So this is kind of farther away. This could probably stand to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, sometimes when you're adjusting and all that kind of stuff, you're getting text all over the place. It gets wonky. We definitely need some space here. Yeah, maybe even more, right? 100? That's pretty fire. I think that this belongs down here. And I'm not even using any like specific, this is all optic. I'm not even using any like specific guiding rules. Like this could be closer to that. It could probably even stand to be a little smaller and more spaced out. You just have to play with all this stuff. By the way, every time you adjust stuff, sometimes depending on how the spacing was, it's going to shift that text. So you got to be aware of that. I think that this is a little bit too much space in between. And then now I think that's a little bit too much space in general from in between. So you kind of have two sections. You got what the book club is, where it is, what it is. It almost kind of looks like an invitation. And I don't know. I mean, I think that on a shirt would be cool. If you're really worried about it, you could just like really, really make that a lot smaller. And you see how that, you know, put it away and then make this the bigger part of the shirt. That already is like, I know exactly what the thing is. I know what the thing is. Let's make it just a tad smaller. I don't mind that. I think just the script becomes difficult to read, so we can make that a little bit bigger. I mean, you could play with this forever. I mean, you just have to decide. You know what I mean? Grab all this and see what happens. I don't know. You have to decide at some point. You have to be like, okay, this is good for now. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make this a little smaller. Bring these down and make those a little smaller as well. But because I made them smaller, they adjust to each other. Okay, and I see what you can do is I can grab these two, group them, and I can center them. So now they're centered. Now I can grab everything. Command G, center, and it's in the center. Whew, okay, goodness sakes. That's a lot of design. All right, so we got to go through getting all of these mock-ups. All right, we did it, guys. I don't know how, but we got here. So here are the 8 mock-ups of the designs, the vintage typography t-shirt designs that we got from these references. I will do my best to get templates of these out for you guys to manipulate however you want them. I guess the moral of the story here would be don't get discouraged. One, if it takes you a long time to design like it does for me. Apologies for the long video, but hopefully it was helpful for you to get insight into the process. Don't forget the 3 pieces of the designing. Get your colors, find the right type, then work on your layout. Don't try to do the end thing before you've done the first thing. And yeah, don't be discouraged if it looks kind of wacky when it's on a flat thing. You know, obviously these mock-ups look much better than the flat design. They just do. Also, be sure to comment down below what you think. Which one is your favorite one? Which other kinds of designs do you want to learn how to make? Are you more of the streetwear? Are you more of the retro? Are you more of the nostalgic? Like, which era of kind of t-shirt design do you want to learn? Let us know that down in the comments. And if you haven't tried Kittl, by the way, you can try it out signing up using the link down in the description. You can get a free trial. You can use the promo code that's down there if you're feeling like you want to get into Kittl and keep using it more and more. We're adding so many advanced features over the next couple of months and on into the future, depending on when you're watching this video, that I really think you're going to be happy using a lot of the different features together, just like the variety of fonts and the mockup features and everything I've just shown you in this video. It's definitely more than enough for you to give it a chance, so please give it a chance and let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and we will see you in the next video.